Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Enigma Show. I'm Eddie Enigma. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Hello, everybody. COVID-19 has skyrocketed since my last update. The cases in the United States are 632,548 confirmed positives. Total deaths, 31,071 who are confirmed dead from the virus. There's some controversy and a lot of stories out here concerning the origins of the virus. The spread of the virus allegedly started in Wuhan in a lab in an attempt to control the virus and to show that their methods and their procedures were equivalent to or better than the United States in controlling the virus, and somehow the virus got out into the general public. Brett Bear is one of the people who's been following this story and is convinced that China has not been completely honest with us on how this virus got started, and believes that there is actual evidence that the virus in fact started in the lab.
Sean, good evening. This is from multiple sources who've been briefed at the beginning part of the origins of China and the beginning of the virus. They've also seen documents, open source and classified. We've asked to see those documents directly, but they are saying that it is increasingly likely, there is increasing confidence that the virus, COVID-19, started in that Wuhan lab, not as a bioweapon. Let's just be clear about that. There's no one who's saying that this was a bioweapon.
How would we know that? I mean,
well,
is
we
that
would,
a conjecture?
but they're not saying, these sources are not saying that. They're saying it occurred naturally because China was trying to show that they could be as good or better than the U.S. in handling viruses, discovering viruses, and this was a botched effort to contain this, and it got out to the population. So there's increasing confidence that that's how it starts. They are 100% confident that China altered the data, the statistics. They did a lot of things to contain the information. Meanwhile, they cut down, as you mentioned, travel from Wuhan internally, but left the international flights going. And there obviously is how you have a spread like this. Now, what I think you're going to start to see is more and more officials being obviously asked about this. Secretary Pompeo was on Martha's show tonight, asked specifically about it, and also these documents that U.S. doctors went to that lab a few years ago to inspect it, and through the embassy in Beijing sent back warnings to the State Department saying that this lab was really not living up to standards, and there were warnings about how the lab was operating. I think you're going to see more and more officials say this. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Milley, asked about it, said the evidence was inconclusive, but it looked natural. Again, you can do natural, but still have a botched handling of a virus in one of these labs. And that's what we're getting tonight, Sean.
Wow, now after hearing that news story, I'm gonna have to say that China looks real guilty. Their government looks real guilty. They have been dishonest since this thing has started. They have tried to cover it up and saying that it wasn't an outbreak of the virus and it would not affect outsiders. But as you heard in this video, they protected their own citizens and kept the people who were infected isolated in Wuhan from traveling throughout China, but they allowed them to travel abroad, knowing what was going on. In a way, they purposely infected American people and other people across the world. So how can we trust them? Now, their connection with the WHO, the World Health Organization, is something that we should look at very closely. The World Health Organization is back in China. You know why? Because the Chinese government is funding a lot of their research. There's a big push for a vaccine for this virus. And do you know who they want to experiment on? We the people. But don't get me wrong, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just there's a lot of dots here to be connected. We gotta remember now, China is a communist country. They control every aspect of their citizens' lives. In fact, China should also come into question because of their treatment of foreigners. There's a resurgence of new COVID-19 cases there, and they're trying to blame the foreigners, i.e. Nigerians and other Africans, and also Black Americans. African community targeted in China COVID-19 crackdown, as they're calling this. Beijing. Africans in southern China's largest city say they have become targets of suspicion and subjected to forced evictions, arbitrary quarantines, and mass coronavirus testing as Beijing steps up its fight against imported infections, drawing U.S. accusations of xenophobia. China says it has largely curbed its COVID-19 outbreak, but a recent cluster of cases linked to the Nigerian community in Guangzhou, and I hope I'm not butchering that, sparked the alleged discrimination by locals and virus prevention officials. Local authorities in the industrial center of 15 million said at least 8 people diagnosed with the illness had spent time in the city's Yuzhou district, known as Little Africa. 5 were Nigerian nationals who faced widespread anger after reports surfaced that they had broken a mandatory quarantine and been to 8 restaurants and other public places instead of staying home. As a result, nearly 2,000 people they came into contact with had to be tested for COVID-19 or undergo quarantine, state media. And I don't believe the story. I don't believe anything that they say. I don't believe President Xi. I don't believe the Chinese Communist government. They have been proven to be liars. So they're trying to pin this now on the African people. The virus came from Wuhan. Their citizens went abroad and spread it, as we heard in an earlier news story. This is their fault. This is their virus. So why try to blame the African immigrants? If the Nigerians have any sense, they would leave this country, and when they get home, the Chinese that are in their country should be put in check and made to leave. Now, on Wednesday, the president hinted to some information that he might have known about how the virus actually got spread.
Saving lives. Today, I'm instructing my administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization while a review is conducted to assess the World Health Organization's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. Everybody knows what's going on there.
And the president wants an investigation of China, and rightly so, because they have been dishonest and they have been deceptive from the very beginning. Donald Trump should keep the sanctions up. He should go hard on them, despite what people will say. They can call them racist. It's not racist. They deserve this. They brought it upon themselves. And they have to earn the United States trust and the world's trust again. It's up to them. They're the ones who did this. It's not anyone else's fault. So I'm with Donald Trump when he says,
it comes from China.
It comes from China.
Because he's telling the absolute truth. Let me know what you think. Do you think there's any validity to these news stories and to these allegations that China spread the virus through experiments in their lab? Or did this occur naturally? Well, you guys, that's the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, this is Eddie Enigma. You have been enigmified, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Oh yeah, and for all you celebrities out here caping for China, try thinking about the American people first.